Shalom, coming at y'all with another video. I want to say shalom to all you sincere brothers out there through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, pushing the gospel. Going into a brief lesson on the Hebrews in the land of Egypt. This book is titled Egypt of the Pharaohs by Sir Alan Gardner. Because you got a lot of individuals out there that don't know how to discern the history of Israel, of Hebrews outside of the Bible. So now we're going to go into the historical references of the other nations and what they spoke about the Hebrews, which are the Hebrew Israelites. So with that, go to page 131. And it reads, "This, however, is a not unsuitable place in which to summarize the dealings of Egypt with its northeastern neighbors throughout Dynasty 12. The prophecy of Nefertiti had emphasized even more strongly than the similar compositions above quoted the incursions of Asiatics Amu into the Delta and had mentioned." So the Asiatics were the Hebrews. That was another word that referred to the Hebrew Israelites as Asiatics. So from there we're going to go to page 144 because I heard a few individuals out there that said that the Egyptians never had slaves. So this is page 144. And it reads, "In another case, a wife was left among others." So like your other things, for Amu, Asiatic slaves. So it say, in another case, a wife was left among other things for Amu, Asiatic slaves. So the Egyptians pretty much had slaves. That's how they was able to be so powerful in the ancient world. They had slaves. And who were those slaves? Those slaves were Hebrews. This is page 203. And it reads, immediately preceding, there is a reference to the Apiru, a much discussed term which we cannot afford to ignore. A few years ago, it was confidently asserted that these people were identical with the Hebrews of the Old Testament. But this is now denied by all but a few scholars. It is, however, generally accepted that they are to be acquitted with the Habiru, better Apiru of the Amana tablets, apparently a generic term for outcasts or abandons belonging to no fixed ethnic groups in Egypt. So like in Egyptian texts, they appear as Asiatic prisoners employed in stone quarries. So these people are clearly Hebrew Israelites. Now we're going to go to the biblical text. Go to Exodus chapter 1 verse 7. The book of Exodus chapter 1 verse 7. And it reads, "And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty and the land was filled with them. Now, when you go back into the book, which I was reading out of before I got to the Bible, they clearly called the Hebrew, because the Egyptians did not speak Hebrew. So they didn't just call them Hebrew. They called them Habiru or Hapiru, which means outcast or abandoned. Basically somebody that was a refugee. And the Israelites were refugees. So it's nowhere in the record where you're going to find, in the Egyptian record, where you're going to find the Israelites being referred to as the Israelites, because we got to go off of the linguistics of what language that was being spoken at the time. And at this time, the Egyptians called them Habiru or Apiru. So put that to the side. Let's get back to the biblical text. It reads, "And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty, and the land was filled with them." So this is what happened. This is what happened. The Israelites were fruitful and multiplied. Let me get the other account, because there's another account in the book of Psalms, chapter 105, verse 23. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 105, verse 23, and it reads, "Israel also came into Egypt, and Jacob sojourned in the land of Ham. And he increased his people greatly and made them stronger than their enemies." So that's what was happening. The more we was afflicted, the more we multiplied. Now I'm going to show you a picture from the tomb of Nati in Thebes. As you see, these are the Hebrews that you see working. Black people, so-called dark-skinned people. And then on this side right here, you see the Egyptian pharaoh sitting down right here while they working. So pretty much Esau knows the history of the true Hebrews of the Bible. He know that they are black people, not the people that you see in Israel today. They was placed in that land in 1948 by the British mandate. You know, see, this information has been here for years, man. But you know, the Israelites, which are you Hebrews, you so-called African Americans, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you don't go into these records because it's an agenda to destroy you. So let me go to the book of Revelation, and I'll close out on that. This is the book of Revelations, the Revelation, chapter 11, verse 8, and it reads, Salakia, try to get that focus on, okay, "And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of the great city, which spiritually is called Sodom and Egypt." So in ancient Egypt, we were slaves. In ancient Egypt, we were slaves. We just read the history. Now, in this Egypt, which is America, which is Babylon, they had our people as slaves again. So history repeats itself. It say, Egypt, where also our Lord was crucified. And how did they crucify Yahushua for a second time? They put up the white boy, Cesare Borgia, to take the place of our Lord, a sodomite. So it said, well, also our Lord was crucified. So this place that we in, Babylon, is known for sodomy, homosexual acts, and is spiritually Egypt, which just like the Egypt we read the history of Egypt, the same thing is going on here. So with that, I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. I'd like to say peace, power, safety, and salutations to you, you brothers out there preaching and teaching the gospel to the best of your ability. And with that, I want to say shalom.